Before we get into it, 10% off games by using my affiliate links below. You'll find a spreadsheet filled with games. Use those links to get 10% off any game listed there. And if you're after a Quest 3 or a Quest 3S, you can get $30 in free Quest cash if you purchase it using my affiliate links. More information in the description below. I'm usually not a fan of sandbox or physics-based games, so you might be wondering what I'm doing reviewing one. Well, I believe it's always worth stepping out your comfort zone, and I was curious to see if deep cuts could surprise me or maybe even change my mind completely on this genre. Now, after completing deep cuts in about 6 hours or so, it's still not my favourite genre. However, I did find myself enjoying the experience much more than I expected. Now, deep cuts combines messy physics with a rich story and detailed sandbox worlds. This game puts you in the shoes of Elise Weber. She's co-founder of the film production studio Lights Camera Faction. Now, Elise's mission is to save her best friend and creative partner by diving deep into Light Camera Faction's vast film catalogue. Deep Cuts offers 6 distinctive movie settings, each drawing inspiration from genres like 1980s horror flicks, retro futuristic sci-fi, spaghetti westerns and film noir. Each film set is unique, and within each film set you'll find around 5 unique scenes. These are kind of mini missions that you'll complete in order to progress the story and wrap up the film. Now, these mini missions make up the bulk of the game, and their variety is truly impressive. Some missions can be completed in just a few minutes, while others stretch on longer, ranging from quirky tasks like eating hot dogs in a hot dog eating competition to intense battles against killer clowns in an oversized clown car. Variety is definitely the standout feature here. The game delivers it in spades. Each movie set feels distinct, with its own unique aesthetic, weapons, items and enemies, though you'll still be fighting mechanised dummies, just dressed in different outfits for each setting. The constant variation keeps the gameplay really fresh and engaging. On that, while I enjoyed many of the scenes, some did miss the mark for me. For example, there's a scene where you simply serve drinks at a bar to overhear criminal conversations. That felt a bit lackluster, and I was glad when it was over. However, the short duration of each scene is a blessing really, because if you come across one you're not enjoying, it's usually over quickly and then you're on to the next one. It also makes it very easy to dip in and out for a quick gameplay session. In addition to these movie sets, there's also boss stages and sandbox stages where you can spawn items using your bowed gun and really let your creativity run wild. The bowed gun, cool little tool that allows you to spawn any item that you've collected in the past for a few credits, and this can be mixed and matched with various scenarios for a truly customizable experience. For example, you can spawn a 6-shooter in a sci-fi setting. So what I'm trying to highlight here is the creativity, the variety, the varied settings that span across horror, sci-fi, western landscapes. The variety keeps things exciting. It also has quite nice detailed environments which are a pleasure to explore, with hidden features and credits littered about the place. These credits can be used for things like cataloguing items with your bowed gun and spawning them, which costs credits. And for me, the other big highlight of this game is the combat, the action. I found the action in Deep Cuts to just be a wild ride, with physics driven combat that's equal parts chaos and strategy. You can pick up just about anything and turn it into a weapon. If you can pick it up, you can pretty much use it to clobber someone. Now, if you also add in the unlockable abilities like slowing down time or gaining super strength, then suddenly you're not just fighting, you're making the laws of physics your personal playground. And this kind of freedom to do whatever you want, even bend the laws of physics to your will, is just pure unfiltered fun with a side of chaos, and very much enjoyable. But what's not so fun is some of the jank and the off physics. I've heard the arms would act like limp noodles in some instances more than others, especially when you're dealing with larger objects. For example, here I'm trying to wheelbarrow some gold and money out the bank, and it's really difficult to control and a little bit frustrating because it's kind of preventing me from doing my mission. Or here, for example, I'm trying to climb a ladder and I'm bouncing around like my arms are made of rubber bands, which feels weird and makes it difficult to climb. This game also suffers from a fair bit of jankiness. With these sandbox games, which are heavily physics based and where you can interact with most of the environment, I think that's quite standard. You're going to get some jankiness, and this game is no exception. Sometimes objects don't act like you think they would act, or you hold them in a weird way, or you get stuck in the environment, things like that. Personally, it wasn't enough for me to stop enjoying the game, but there were those occasional glitches and awkward experiences that interrupted the flow of the gameplay. And in addition, there were a bunch of other kind of minor issues that I don't want to bog down this review with. Were not deal breakers, but certainly did have an impact on the game. For example, holstering weapons, I found that to be a bit awkward, as the holsters didn't feel quite right. I'm not sure if I had my settings wrong, but I found it hard to store guns and retrieve guns. Or this, the rotating holo map. The fact that it rotated made it really hard to navigate, and I think they should have just made that static. And I'll give one more. Reloading was a bit weird. I had to open the menu to retrieve a shell or clip. And again, I wasn't sure if there's another way to reload that I just wasn't aware of, but seemed like a strange way to do it, and also interrupted the fast-paced gameplay. But there are smaller things there, but one of the bigger things I would say is the melee combat. Now, despite the game offering a variety of melee weapons like hammers, picks, pitchforks, like I said, anything you pick up could be potentially used as a melee weapon, I felt the damage output doesn't quite match up to expectations. You're going to see some footage here of me using hammers and pitchforks, and I am swinging them quite hard, but it doesn't seem to have the impact that you think it might. I found a hard hit would barely cause the enemy to stagger, which of course takes away from the satisfaction of using them, and I ended up most of the time just switching back to guns, because they were by far the most effective method of dispatching enemies, as well as pistol whipping. That wasn't too bad either. Well, that is until I unlock the super strength ability, and then every weapon becomes a one-hit kill melee weapon, and I just went through most of the game judo chopping everyone to death. So in sum, deep cuts may not have converted me into a sandbox or physics-based game fan, but it certainly surprised me. It's a chaotic, creative ride with a mix of storytelling, varied gameplay, and over-the-top action that keeps things quite interesting. The movie-inspired settings and mini-missions give the game a lot of personality, and the physics-driven combat is plain fun. While the game does have its fair share of jank, some missions feel off, and there's a few mechanics that certainly do need fixing. If you're after a game that's all the chaos and creativity of a good sandbox physics experience with a cinematic twist, then Deep Cuts might be the one for you, and it certainly gets a thumbs up from me. Remember, you can get 10% off this game by using the affiliate link below. That's it from me for now. What do you think of Deep Cuts? Let me know in the comment section below. Always love to hear from you. Thank you for watching as always, and I hope to get you in the next one. Bye for now.